Ladies, gentlemen, and our auditor, good evening. You are in conversation with Natural Health Talk. Tonight, we are going to talk about special herb called basil, holy basil. Basil is a savory leafy green herb native to Asia and Africa. Basil considered sacred and believed to be a protector in life and death. Ancient Greek and Roman, basil was a symbol of hostility and insanity. Other folk traditions have associated the herb with love. During recent century, when an Italian woman placed a pot basil plant on her balcony, it signaled that she was ready to receive her lover. Northern Europe, lovers exchanged basil sprig as a sign of faithfulness. In India, basil reserved as a sacred herb. Basil reputations and healing has been equally contradictory. The ancient Greek physician Discoid and Roman doctor Galen both warned against taking basil internally, saying it caused instantly and spontaneously generation of internal worms. But the Roman naturalist Pliny and Arab physicians 1,000 years defend basil as a great herb healer. Chinese also use basil to treat stomach, kidney, and blood ailment. During the 11th century, the German Abbess Hildegard of Bingen used basil mixture to treat cancerous tumor. By the 17th century, basil was widely used in Europe to treat cold, wart, and intestinal tumor. French botanist Tournefort published a tale that tarnished the herb reputation for years. As century passed, Tournefort's scorpion story faded. Basil has never become a major healing herb in North America, but around the world, basil used on everything. Basil has been used in healing as in cooking. U.S. Department of Agriculture show basil has been recommended for just about everything ailment. For example, alcoholism, boredom, childbirth, recovery, cholera, cold, constipations, convulsion, cough, cramps, crops, deafness, delirium, depressions, diarrhea, dropsy, congestive heart failure, dysentery. In Philippines, basil poultices are applied to ringworm, infection, and pregnant women drink basil tea to induce labor. In El Salvador, the herb placed in the ear to treat infection. In Malaysia, basil used to expel intestinal worm and promote menstruations. Basil is popular in Nigeria folk medicine and has been used to manage numerous diseases, including rheumatism, paralysis, epilepsy, diarrhea, influenza, and gonorrhea. The treatment of skin disease, pneumonia, tooth and gum disorder, fever, and as mosquito repellent. Leaves of the plant are used as spice and condiment in the south part of Nigeria to facilitate removal of blood clot from the female reproductive system after delivery. Plant is used in the treatment of epilepsy, high fever, and diarrhea in the coastal area of Nigeria. People of Kenya and sub-Saharan African community rub the leaf between the palms, and sniff as a treatment for blocked nostril. African basil juice can be used for treatment convulsion. The Igbo people of the eastern part of Nigeria use the African basil juice and Karen for baby cord. It is a useful for people living with HIV and AIDS. In Indonesia, the oil is used in the ceremonial washing of corpses, and the plant is often planted in graveyard. Some people may need to be careful with African basil. I'm going to tell you why. African basil is rich in vitamin K, which play a role in blood clotting. Food or supplement containing high level of vitamin K can affect the action of blood thinner like warfarin. Therefore, anyone use blood thinner should consult a doctor before increasing the intake of African basil or any other variety of basil. American herbalists suggest basil as a digestive aid, appetite stimulant, and milk promoter in nursing mother. Researchers claim basil oil kills intestinal parasites. Indian researchers report that basil kills bacteria when applying to the skin for acne. Basil oil also treats acne. An animal study showed that basil boosts the immune system by increasing the production of disease-fighting antibiotics by up to 20%. Basil is also good for kidney stone, people who have kidney stone, by eliminating the production of calcium oxalate for kidney stone sufferers. I would suggest taking basil juice, lemon juice, celery, and dandelion weed together for reduced calcium oxalate in you, especially people who continue to produce kidney stone a lot. They keep producing kidney stone from one kidney to the next. I remember I saw one woman who producing so much kidney stone, one kidney is affected. Please listen to my advice. Researchers believe that basil is one of many medical herbs that's very good for kidney stone. And also, I'm going to repeat it for you. Researchers believe that basil is one of medical herbs containing both pro and anti-cancer substances that play a role in preventing cancer. I'm coming to that, especially holy basil leaf extract decrease tumorigenicity and metastasis of aggressive human pancreatic cell in vitro and in vivo, has potential role in therapy for people with pancreatic cancer. Food supplement of basil containing high level of vitamin K can affect the action of blood thinners like warfarin, which I told you before. Therefore, anyone using blood thinner should consult doctor before increasing their intake of African basil of any other variety of basil. If you suffer from allergic reactions to plant in the basil or mint family, avoid African basil. Also, contact emergency service if you have hives, swelling, or difficulty breathing after eating food made with the leaf basil. Let's take 5-minute break before we start again. Okay, mesdames, messieurs, we come back again. We're talking about basil. I remind you, you are a Natural Health Talk Show. We're doing a convention on health, and I'm one of the invited. So this program is going to be on YouTube. If you like our show, please tell your family and your friend to do the same. Subscribe us. Without you, we won't be on the air. Tell us your opinion. Natural Health Talk Show, been on the air for 34 years. It's there for you. Tonight we are talking about a special herb called holy basil. We was in the process explained to you. There was a good research done on basil. The American Cancer Institute said the holy basil leaf decrease tumorigenicity and metastasis of aggressive human pancreatic cancer cell in vitro and in vivo, and has potential role in therapy of people with pancreatic cancer. And there was also research to believe that basil is one of many medical herbs containing pro and anti-cancer substances that play a role in preventive cancer. And also there was good research done for people with kidney stone, especially people who have recurrent stone all the time. Kidney stone suffer. Basil, if you take basil and with lemon juice, celery, and dandelion with together, that will help you reduce the calcium oxalate in you. And I telling you, when I stop, I tell you that if you suffer from allergy reaction to the basil, to plant in the basil or mint family, please avoid African basil or any other herbs family of basil. And I tell you, if you have that kind of allergy, please contact emergency service. If you have hive, swelling, or difficulty of breathing after eating food, make with the leaf before we take the break. Now we are back in the conference on Natural Health Talk Show on basilic, basil, or another name, and you say basilic. Remember that I always tell you, without good health, you are nothing. Prevention is the master of the world. Hippocrates, the father of medicine, say, so the doctor is not the one who gave you only medication, but the one who used food, herbs, and nature to heal you. Let's talk about safety factor for basil. No uterine stimulant has ever been identified in basil. Women might not try use it to track their menstruation. If pregnant, not taking basil. Please, if you're pregnant, do not take in basil, because that make your menstrual come right away, that you could have a miscarriage. So you really don't want it that. So for people who non-pregnant women, non-nursing adult, with no liver disease, safe amount recommended. So you could take basil. If basil causes minor discomfort, such as stomach upset or diarrhea, use less, s'il vous plaît, use less, or stop using it. Please, always use any herbs and medicinal amount only on consultation with your doctor or your licensed holistic healthcare practitioner. The Food Drug Administration, we call in the United States FDA, we got basil as safe. Okay, basil family, you have labiate, odemum, you have mint. Genus species, you have Ocimum basilicum, Ocimum sanctum, also known as sweet basil, St. John wort. What the part they use in the herb is leaf and the flower tops. And you know that basil is a key ingredient in pesto de zestri, the popular sauce for pasta. Let me give you a good advice. The next time your stomach send out a SOS, remember, there is something wrong in your stomach. If I was you, I'll use a cup of basil tea, because basil has reputation healing power to help his digestion, especially gas and cramp. Remember, mix it up, because many fresh food are more nutritious than dry counterpart. Basil is good both ways. If you want to take basil, take 1 teaspoon of ground dry basil, contain more essential minerals like calcium, iron, magnesium, and potassium than 1 tablespoon of fresh leaf. 1 teaspoon of ground dry basil contain more essential minerals like calcium, iron, magnesium, and potassium than 1 teaspoon of fresh leaf. Researchers said is to use both forms of basil. dry and fresh. Do not expose basil to heat, light, or air for a long period of time. That will cause many of the protective compounds to break down. It is important to store basil in a cool, dark place, preferably in glass or metal container. If you decide to take basil to mix, many fresh food are more nutritious than dry counterpart. Basil is good both ways. A teaspoon of ground dry basil, as I show you in the photo of the show, it contains more essential minerals like iron, magnesium, and potassium than a tablespoon of fresh leaf. Researchers say is to use both forms of dry and fresh basil. Do not expose basil to heat, light, or air for a long period, which will degrade many protective compounds. It is important to store basil in a cool, dark place, preferably in a glass or metal container. Remember, the healing properties of plants have not changed. What was a healing herb 1,000 years ago is still a healing herb. There is nothing Western medicine cannot be found in the medicine of the past. Now you can see for yourself how natural complementary take a big splendor. In 1988, when I started this journey, I was never discouraged because I know an educated patient will know how to take care of himself better. No drug, no smoking, eat the right food, do preventive medicine, go to his doctor for annual physical examination, and if he has a medical problem, seek not one, many advice before having to go into surgery. And the more important for me was prevention. Prevention is the key word. Without good health, you are nothing in this world we call earth. God created us to eat green plants and herbs, fiber. This is what I have to you tonight. I hope you enjoy my show. As I told you before, Natural Health Talk Show, been on the air for 34 years, teaching you. Our show will be on YouTube. If you like our show, please subscribe us. Without you, won't be on the air. We're here for you, for your family. Tell your family and your friend to watch us, subscribe us, and tell us your opinion. Good night.